Badass intro, right? You'd think that that intro to a game would be like the most badass thing that you'd seen. I remember first finding out about this game when I was reading PSM, which was PlayStation Magazine back in the day. I remember seeing this in the magazine. I had not played the first one yet, but this one, it just kind of gravitated towards me. It just looked really awesome and badass. And I remember telling a buddy about it. I was gonna play this game. I rented it from Blockbuster, and I was telling him about it, and he's like, "Oh no, you got to play the first one." So I beat this game first at Blockbuster, and at the time, I thought it was pretty awesome. Didn't think it was the greatest thing in the world. But then I played the first one, and obviously I saw why there was the disconnect with the fans, and then why it's been getting the reviews it had been getting over the years. So with these reviews that I'm going to be doing, I might have a little bit of a favoritism towards some of them. I might give higher scores because of just nostalgia reasons, or I might consider how it aged over time and things like that. So with this one, this came out, and with a cover like this, it's the best one of the series in my opinion. And you'd think that, wow, this is gonna be freaking awesome. And replaying it again after all these years, it still has that. It's kind of like that terrible movie, but you still love it, and you still go back to it just for it's just like a guilty pleasure kind of thing. And that's how this one feels now. Yeah, it's got some acrobatic moves that you can do to it, but it's pretty much the same thing over and over and over again. It feels like there's maybe 10 enemy types throughout the whole game, and it stays consistent like that throughout the whole game. And in a moment here, forgive the audio, I'm just doing these for my phone. I'm trying to learn how to make these little videos here and there, so I'll be showing gameplay here and there on how it is. Level design was kind of bland and boring, and you'll see in these clips right here that I'll snippet together on how it is. You can see, it may not be good in the video, but over time, I beat the game in 3 hours, give or take. The really short missions. Dante in this one, you play as a devil, a devil hunter, carried on from the first game. In this one, which is the most aggravating of everything, especially after playing the first one, Dante in the first one was this charismatic, arrogant, not an asshole, but he was cocky. He had an attitude to him, he was awesome. He ate pizza, and he was just kind of a smart ass, but he was cool and awesome. And the level design in the first one, you can see where you're going. It makes sense. And in the second one, this one, it just kind of falls on its face. Dante barely talks in this game. It's little simple one-liners okay. It's very bland. It doesn't feel like Dante anymore. Replaying it after the first one. And obviously I've played all the other ones continuously, but this is just basically just solely judged on after the first one, but also I'm taking into consideration on how bad Capcom really dropped the ball on this one. Seeing how they've treated Dante throughout the years, and then going back to this one, just thinking geez, you just really didn't get a grasp of who this character is and why we love the first one so much. But in this one, like I said, the level design is very bland. It seems very generic and very lazy. It feels like a rushed project. It just feels that Capcom got the win. Devil May Cry 1 was a very successful game. Greatest hits. I would rate it's one of the best, one of the top PlayStation games. PlayStation 2 games easily, in my opinion. Then going back to this one, it just felt like they were really lazy. The camera angle is really all over the place and in your face, or it doesn't give you a good view. The enemy types are very bland, and also in the storyline, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. You'll be in locations where, like, you know, you'll go to a location, you'll complete the mission, and all of a sudden Dante just appears at a different location out of nowhere. Like in the beginning of the game, without like any explanation, you run into this female other character, Lucia, and there's like no context on really who she is, what she does, what is the motivations for Dante, why is he here, where is he going. There's no like sense of it all. He just magically appears in this like castle like that's up in the sky out of nowhere after he was like just out of nowhere for no rhyme or reason whatsoever. Then he drops down on the ground. Like it's all over the place, and if you've ever played it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It just, like, looking at it as an adult now, like, you know, kind of like, you know, how you do in movies, you pick apart plot points, and like you're like, there's a little bit you can get by, and you can get past the cheese and let it be what it is. But in this one, I have to like critique it where I'm just like, man, dude, like as a kid when I rented this when it came out, you know, I didn't see those things. I let them slide. But in this one, man, they just really made these bland decisions on just randomly throwing stuff everywhere. It just feels like it's missing half the game. And then, for instance, like there's these level plot points to where I'll show in a second here. It's one of the most annoying things ever. You are constantly having to hit these little like sphere things that have like rotating like cards around them, and every time you hit them, like it loads it up, and like the color pattern changes until you it's complete, and they're all over the place. It's just like, you know, you think like open up a demon portal of the world, and you have to hit these things. You have to find like 4 of these things on a map, and it just feels super lazy, and like it's just super annoying right now. And I'll say, and this is how they look right here. This is how it was throughout the most. So right there, those are scattered all over the game, and it just feels really lazy, at least to me. Yeah, looking back at it now, I'm just like, man, this is just so freaking silly. Like it really feels like a rush project. Like looking back at everything now, the bosses were okay. This one, it doesn't really have any strategic value to these boss battles. You want to have a boss battle that kind of challenges you, and you think of certain ways to kill them, and like you want to feel like a badass demon hunter. All of these bosses, no joke, you could just stay at a distance and just keep firing them with Dante's pistols, Ebony and Irony, and literally just spamming and building up your devil trigger, and then just use your devil power just to kill the thing. It's like a tedious thing where it's a terrible boss design. Some of them look okay, man, but they're just bullet sponges. Like in the first one, you had the tarantula, which was awesome, and then you fought Mundus, which I'll review the first one once I get through my collection. I don't have a lot of time on my hands. I'm a little bit tired right now. I got done training for my job this morning. I'm usually a night shift worker. Usually I'm asleep by now, but I've been wanting to do these for a while just for my fun sake, because I love video games. As you can see, I love all my nerdy stuff here on my Ninja Turtles, Warhammer, which I paint. I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan. That's why my YouTube name is Sullen Sully. I'm a big Dragon Ball Z fan. But back to where we were. Yeah, this game just falls flat on its face. It's not a terrible game by any means, but it's not good by any stretch of the word. Back then, I would have probably given it maybe a 7.5, reviewing it the first time when I first beat it at Blockbuster. Because I thought it was cool. It was awesome. And honestly, the cover art is freaking badass. Like, it was like, oh, you know, but replaying it again, you know, I'll probably replay it again every now and then just to pick it up, because it's only a few hours. It's kind of like a simple, you know, I don't have to overthink it. Like, you know, you want to play video games and you want to concentrate. Some video games you just kind of want to kick back and not have to concentrate or worry too much about things. But, you know, this one was simple. It's still fun to me. It's still got a fun value to it. I think it's an important game in the franchise because it shows the shift on what they should have been doing with the franchise and Dante and how he was. And people who know about Devil May Cry and the history of it and all the following sequels and the prequel, Devil May Cry 3, Dante's Awakening, phenomenal game, freaking phenomenal game. I would argue it's probably one of the best one in the series. It's definitely top 3 easy. But yeah, with this one, I'm just gonna have to say I'm gonna have to probably rate this one probably a 6 now, 6 out of 10. It just doesn't have that same feel anymore, and I really feel like that this is what Capcom felt like they did to themselves in this one. Oh, and I'm mixing and matching my videos. I'm gonna be able to put them all together and how I think they are put well together. I forgot to mention the final boss. By far my biggest pet peeve. It is. I don't even know how to describe it. It's all of the bosses combined into like this blob, where it's got all of the. It's like they all mutate into this blob, and they each have like their own singular attack pattern that the bosses use. Like say if one of the bosses had like say 3 or 4 of their main attacks, it'll pick like one of their attacks, and that is like their section, like their head or whatever, and it's just like this big blob. I mean, look at this thing. This is what it looks like. It's the most ridiculous boss battle ever, and you can literally just shoot it the entire time. It takes a while. But yeah, look at this thing. Yeah, absolutely horrible boss design in my opinion. It was just absolutely ridiculous. To me, it was a cheap, lazy cop out. Like the Devil May Cry from the first one. I mean, looking back at it now, but the first one when you fight Mundus, that was freaking awesome. You were in his devil form. You were flying around. You were shooting. You had the sword of Sparta. It was awesome. You go from that to this is like an absolute disgrace and embarrassment. I'll be honest, when I first did beat this, and I still, well, now that there's YouTube now, back in the day, I would save my save data on the final boss, just beat the final 2 bosses, just so I can hear this end credit these scenes and the songs, because they are awesome. I'm a big metal fan, and I thought it was absolutely badass. That was that now. I mean, now would be the only probably real reason I would beat it again, or at least the final level was to hear this. But you can obviously look it up on YouTube now. But that was the only reason, really, back in the day when I beat it I would beat it so many times just to hear the song because it was freaking awesome. All right, so there it is. That's my first review with my little nostalgic series that I'm going to be doing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'm going to try to get better at them, but like I said, I'm not doing this for recognition or money or anything like that. I'm just doing this because I love video games, and it gives me an excuse to replay some good nostalgic games. So at the end of the day, we give Devil May Cry 2 a 6 out of 10. Give it an okay rating. I would recommend it for a playthrough if you haven't played it. I do think the Devil May Cry series is one of the best franchises that we have seen in recent memory in the past, couple decades. But like I said, it's by far the worst in the series. 6 out of 10. Would recommend for a playthrough. Other than that, nothing really too special. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you guys on the next nostalgic review. Have a good day.